Zandvoort has been won by Oscar Piastri. Lando's luck has finally run out.
You were the chosen one!
And let's not talk about the Ferraris. Welcome, Damo.
Oh, what happened?
You were
Oh,
the chosen one.
look,
Don't try it, Lando. I have the high ground.
I've got the high ground. It was a bit of a shame on more points than one because Oscar had him covered,
Oh,
and
yeah.
now there's kind of like this little thing, the elephant in the room, like but his engine or chassis or whatever they're deciding went wrong. They ended up with a bit of oil sprayed everywhere, and it kind of ruined what was going to be an absolute domination by Oscar. I mean, does that kid right? So he's now equal Mark Webber,
He has.
and what did he achieve, Steve? Grand Slam.
Oh, it's the Grand
Slam.
That's right. It was the tennis reference. It was the Grand
Yeah.
Slam because he took everything. All laps
Everything.
led, pole
Fastest
position,
lap,
fastest lap.
Pole.
He absolutely annihilated. And for anyone who thought that Lando was going to get within a bees, you know what? You're wrong.
And we saw that heartbreak on Zak Brown's face too. So anyway, enough with all that. Let's kick it off. Okay.
All right. Very good. Let's kick it off. What are we going to talk about first, mate? Because this Grand Prix was insane. Maybe we'll just do a quick recap of the positions. That's probably a good starting point, right? So
yeah, I mean, it did end up being an epic one. So let's cover off some of the positions, and we mentioned Oscar, of course,
Oscar
our
takes
new
the win.
king.
Yeah, he is the king and has a very handy lead right now, Damo, at 34 points. We'll touch on that a bit later. But anyway, it was Oscar from Max. And if anyone actually watched our predictions, all 39 of you, you would have seen that I got those two predictions right. Yes, cha-ching, baby.
Oh, look, you can once is okay. Once in the year is okay, mate.
It's about the only time. So
Yeah.
I'll take it. And we had a surprise podium of Zak Hadjar. Or Isaac?
Yes.
Isaac. I think it's Isaac. They were saying Isaac a lot. So we'll go with Isaac.
I think that's the French pronunciation. Now everyone's kind of catching on. So it doesn't look good if you read it how it's spelt in Australian terms, but it's meant to be Isaac or Isaac, but we'll call him Isaac because we're Australian. So well done, mate. What a great podium.
It's a good thing that Ricardo was in there.
Very true.
Yes, no, well done, Isaac. It was a great drive, very well deserved. I know that you lucked into it, so to speak, in terms of Lando falling by the wayside, but you had to be there and you kept Max honest the entire race. Yeah, which was great.
Nailed that fourth, which was amazing. And then it did kind of fall in his lap, but then just to take a podium, he drove. Even so much that they're going to replace his trophy because he got too excited during the celebrations and broke his trophy.
He's not the first person to break their trophy, Damo. Lando. And broke Max's as well.
And broke Max's as well, yeah. So there's been a bit of that. But there was a couple of great surprises. Not only just him, but we had a few surprises. Alex Albon got up there.
Yes, he did.
That was great.
It was.
Ollie Behrman.
Ollie Behrman, also very good. The two Astons also had a good run. And Stroll, he retired from tennis to come out and play.
Yeah, well, I thought he was going to retire after his crash on the Saturday. Well, that was a pretty big one. That was a big one. But then somehow I'm just gonna beat freaking Fernando. I mean, I can't figure that boy out sometimes.
If that kid could just work out his own head, I reckon he'd actually go half okay. But I think he just doesn't want to be there most of the time, and then occasionally he turns up. It's really weird. Anyway,
it's almost like he got in trouble, I think, for the smash. Daddy sort of said, "Oi, figure out." So I was like, "All right, I better pay attention. I better pay attention."
Yeah, and Yuki also had a pretty good showing. Colapinto. Now,
Yeah.
better week from him, or weekend from him. Still not
Yeah.
great, but better.
Yeah. Still just outside points,
Yep.
but he did a much better job. But I guess it means nothing when Briatore is already starting to write you off because he's had enough. So who
Pretty
knows
much.
what they're going
Oh, mate, that's as good a guess as when Horner was in charge at Red Bull.
to prove. Very true.
And then, yes, we had Liam Lawson behind him, Science, Hulk,
Yeah.
Portoletto. Kicksale kind of went backwards this weekend, Damo. Just
Yeah.
wasn't really their track, I'm feeling.
Nope.
And we'll touch on Kimi Antonelli at a later stage, Pierre Gasly, and then the 3 DNFs of Lando Norris, Charles Leclerc, and
Oh,
Lewis Hamilton. Double DNF,
oh my gosh.
Ferrari.
Oh, is there anything more sad than being stuck on the infield, not being able to get back to the pits, and borrowing your photographer's phone to keep an eye on what's happening at the track? Oh man.
Yep.
Charles, you poor boy.
Yeah.
Anyway.
If he, what's that saying? If you didn't have bad luck, you'd have no luck at all.
Yeah, correct. Correct. Yes.
All right. Well, let's run through our predictions, mate, and see where we came.
Yeah.
Both of us got the Oscar Piastri. Well done, everyone! Clap. Yes.
Yeah.
Woo! As for our standout performers, we were both nowhere. You said Gasly. That was a
Shocker.
Carlos Sainz also. So Isaac Hadjar,
Yeah.
well done. You're our standout.
Yeah.
We've kind of
you have to
said
give
that.
it to Isaac. Yeah, but we didn't do too well on the others. I had Lando in P2 and Charles in P3.
Yeah.
And you had Lando in
P3, and he didn't even finish.
Yeah. So we on point. We were
At least I got
classy
2.
as always. Yeah, you got 2 this week. Well done. Well done. So yes, good. All right. Well, let's just touch on a few of the key points, the key things that happened. And obviously we'll just briefly retouch on the Piastri thing because the incredible win, the Grand Slam. And he really did, like through the Friday and the Saturday until quali, he was really just trying to keep up. Well, not keep up, but he was just that little bit behind Norris. And I just thought, it's getting interesting here. This could be an interesting weekend. And then our mate Isaac, who just happened to be on the front straight at the right time, gave him that 0.02 bloody difference to snag pole position, which was
0-2,
yeah, that was awesome.
Oscar's strength this year has been the part where he's been able to turn around a weekend where he's looked slightly off the pace or slightly behind Lando to then challenge or beat in Q3. So I take my hat off to him. I know he got a small little toe at the end, which got him over the line, but you still have to deliver the rest of the lap. You still have to deliver it. And
he did.
And he did. And it's remarkable. And for anyone who thinks that Lando gets hard done by, get nicked. If you haven't seen the last 3 races of being hard done by, I'm telling you, that kid is pissed on the you know what. So
I mean, it is, to be fair, he has had some reliability issues, right? So he has been the victim of some of that stuff. But in terms of how some of the other safety cars and things have panned out, he has been absolutely blessed. And
finally,
just to kind of right the ship. I'll also note that a lot of people are talking online that, it's championship over. Oscar's got it. It's just one DNF for Oscar, and that, because ultimately these 2 boys should be winning. One of these 2 should be winning. So if you're going to DNF, you're then losing out on a winning position. So it's still up in the air.
Yes.
But I would like to just call out, and I did mention he has now equaled Mark Webber in terms of the Australian drivers. He's got 9 wins, and he's got 7 of those this year. And we still have 9 races left. Could he equal in 1 year or basically 2 years of really competing from his first race win, could he equal our greatest ever driver, Sir Jack Brabham, with 14? I mean, it's possible.
It is
It's
possible.
possible.
He's going to have a
But
really tough time. It's not as simple as it sometimes seems, and how we sometimes explain it. But
yes,
no, it's definitely possible. It's on the cards. Look, there's 2 rounds in particular that I think Lando will be quite strong at, where Oscar might find it more difficult. But everywhere else, fair game. So 100% think he can do it. I hope he does. I'll also point out that I'm pretty sure that his 7 wins this year eclipses Daniel Ricciardo's all time in that single
yeah,
season. So that's
yeah,
pretty impressive in itself.
yeah. Yeah, it is. But so he is truly something special, and I really hope that he can kind of just continue on this form, because next year is an unknown.
It
We've
is.
got the new regulations, and so the opportunity to be at the pointy end to win a world championship may or may not be there next year. So I hope that he can make the most of it. So fingers crossed.
I got them all crossed.
Hey. And while you've got them crossed, Norris's luck has run out, mate. Do you want to keep them crossed? And we did talk about Zak Brown, the chosen one, how sad he was in the pit afterwards.
His
But
reaction, man. The reaction, poor Oscar. Like, poor Oscar. This kid has done so much for this team in such a short space of time. And the best Zach could do was, oh shit, the camera's on me, better smile.
yeah. Yep. Now, just in some late breaking news, I did see a post on socials which had had a friend of Oscar's who was on the pit wall when the engine failure happened, and there was a little smile that peeked up. And I'm not going to call it out. We might have it for next week or something. But I just saw it, and I'm just like, I did not see that in the telecast, but it was obviously there. So someone's smiling. Yep. Someone high up at McLaren still loves Oscar, which is good to know.
Yeah. I think when we talk about, not to out that person, but I think there's one side that is, obviously Zak Brown and Lando, and then there's the other side a little bit.
Yeah.
Might be a wager on that, perhaps.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. Well, I mean, let's quickly just touch on what Lando. It might mean for the championship. And I guess the first thing is, we still don't have a report at this stage on how good, bad, or indifferent that failure is. There's some talk about it being something to do with the chassis, so maybe it's the packaging up.
Yeah.
But Lando he's used up all his free allocation of stuff. So if he does have to replace anything on the engine, it will be a penalty in Monza. So that's bigger implications for the championship.
This is something that we touch on occasion, and I suppose this sort of half goes back to Piastri as well. But you notice how Piastri, when he leads, right, he often leads by just enough. He never goes out to try and rip a massive gap or anything like that. He just leads by enough to the next person and controls the race. Lando doesn't do that. He's always at, how I perceive it, he's always at 10 tenths, right? He's always pushing all the time. And I'm just wondering whether that's starting to have an effect on the equipment. We talk about the old race style where you had to look after your cars and things like that. I'm just wondering if it's had a slight effect on the old car for him. I mean, this is all hypothetical. They've got no insight. It's just an observation. But yeah, it's interesting that it happened on Lando's car, and touch fucking wood, which I'm doing right now.
It doesn't.
That it doesn't happen to the other car.
Yep. Just hope it doesn't. But yeah, I mean, that could be something that is, exactly why that it might be there. It's also, I guess, as part of that, the one thing that I did want to call out was there was some messaging over the radios that still grated my gears, grinding my gears a little bit. That
No,
they were talking.
it ain't so. Sorry.
They were talking to Oscar, and they basically said, if there's a safety car, you want to pit, you'll lose a place to Lando. And they're like, Oscar's like, yep, do it. And then the call to Lando was then post that conversation saying similar question, but then said, let's do the opposite of Oscar. And so it still shows when the car's behind, they're doing whatever they can in terms of that favoritism. But I'll play the audio because I've got it teed up, ready to go.
Very good.
And it's Bernie Collins, I think her name is. So she's the old Aston strategist on Sky News that does that. All right.
Yep.
Here we go.
Yes, Crofty, I was just going to come in and an update on the two McLarens and what they would do if there was a safety car now. What would you do, Crofty?
I'd pit them both.
Pit them both? Well, there's been a lot of discussion on both videos. It's been really interesting listening. Piastri's been told he'd only lose position to Norris. Would he take it? Piastri with a very clear and concise, yes, I'd take it for a new hard. They obviously have a new hard in the garage waiting to go on. Norris has been told he would lose position to Verstappen and Hadjar. And then he's been told Piastri would take it. So Norris' decision would be to do the opposite of what Piastri's doing. So lots of discussion going on the two McLaren pit. Will be very interested to see what actually happens in reality. But
Interesting.
Interesting indeed. Still giving them the extra option. Now, I guess full disclosure, there is other positions at play. So there is like this component where they're trying to figure out what they would do. And I guess in the event as happened, everybody pitted anyway. So there was no loss. Everyone just pitted. No one could take that opportunity to kind of just plow on. Everybody needed fresh tires. But geez, I'll tell you what, there were moments when I was watching and stuff like that was happening where I'm just like, don't you fucking dare. Don't you dare.
I don't look.
Yeah.
I don't mind them having a slightly different run at it. What I don't like, I don't know. There's certain plays that definitely like having an offset. Go for it, right? If you can, like what Oscar did in Austria, right? 4-lap offset, come back at him, whatnot. That's fine. I actually don't have a problem with that. I have a bigger problem with like Hungary, where it's, that once that car's in clean air and running, it'll be fine. It just needs to get in clean air. So the play should have been Piastri runs long, waits for Leclerc to pit, and just keeps going, and then comes back at him and passes him and goes and wins the race, right? But that's not what they did. They chose to stop him early, which is the stupid move. And then Lando plays the long game, and it works out much better. That's the thing that I don't like. So I don't mind them having the slightly off strategy by a few laps here or there, if they want. But I mean, personally, I want to see them battle on the same tire all the time, because then it's like, well, that's going to win. But that's also pretty much means that whoever gets to the first corner wins.
Which is the old McLaren philosophy from the 90s.
Right? With Hakkinen and Coulthard. It's like, if you got to the first corner first, well, it's yours.
It's yours. So, look, it's going to be like this for me the rest of the season. Anytime stuff happens where I'm just going to be expecting with my tinfoil hat that someone at McLaren is going to do a dodge, and I'll stay calm.
Maybe they got the wrong engine, mate. Maybe they unscrewed the wrong bolt.
Yeah, there was that meme going around too. We've got to fix Lando. We got it, man. I've taken the screw out. Shit, wrong engine.
Why is he American?
I don't know, Zak Brown. Why are you American?
Wow.
All right, let's move on from the McLaren stuff, because we need to keep the sadness going, but at least cover off.
Was it sad though?
Well,
sorry,
it was partially a double DNF for Ferrari. And what is Kimi Antonelli going to do? They're going to renounce his citizenship if he continues to take out Ferraris like that.
Yeah, no, can't be taking out the the old Ferrari. That's not on, Mr. Antonelli. They won't like you, and you've chosen the worst time to do it because you're literally going home this week.
Next week, yeah. This week, yeah. I'm going to say next week, but
No,
it's
it's this
a
week.
few days away.
It is. So yeah, no, look, that was
Yeah.
it was a trial move, and it didn't come off. But at some stage, you probably need to get out of the throttle.
Yeah, clearly just a bit of a, as I say, a rookie error where just didn't realize how much pace you're going to have to drop to make that low line work. And it just plowed on up and geez, he just speared into him.
Oh,
and yeah, Leclerc was not so happy about it.
Like I don't like it. As Ferrari is my team, like it sucked massively, but that actual hit and watching that car spin that way was like, Jesus, that's kind of cool. But that's probably not the embarrassing part, mate. Like the most embarrassing part of all was his teammate. So
just
Hamo,
rookie error,
slightly slippery. I don't know. Whatever it was, that car disconnected, and the moment it disconnected, he overcorrected and just fenced it.
Yeah, it just had nothing. Basically, it just went straight into that portion of the barrier that just destroyed the car, and that was really not good. To be pretty much the only one to make a pretty major blunder from the rain period that was pretty limited. That was average at best, and as you say, I guess he gets to reset. You know, they've got Monza. Maybe they can have a bit of a redemption arc, but it was it was not.
Yeah, I think they will because I think Monza's more suited to that car. So poor old Hamo, I think that particular track was not a good track for Ferrari at all. It wasn't really a good track for Merc either. A lot of teams struggled. So nobody was really ultra competitive. The only two cars that blew off into the distance were the McLarens until one failed.
Yeah, until one failed. Yeah, it was crazy, wasn't it?
It was.
Well,
but
let's just quickly round out on Antonelli too while he's part of that discussion. And I guess you've kind of asked the question. Really, was it deserved or was it a bit rough? And I think he got what he deserved. I think it was just you got to penalise that stuff. It's harsh, but it's fair.
Penalty's fine. I'm more like the discussion around him at the moment being a bit rough. Like he's still a rookie.
Oh yeah,
and I know his first half of the year. Like I think I touched on after about 8 races that I expected a little bit more, and then he delivered in Miami, and then sort of went a little bit MIA, and then he delivered at Canada, and then he's really gone MIA. But he's 18. Like, he's a kid. Just leave him alone. I know he's in the Merc. That's fine, but that's got its own pressures that the other rookies don't have to deal with. Yeah. And I just think probably right now, towards this time of year, just give the kid a break. Let him find his feet again, and he'll come back to it. Like, it's not like to quote like Scott Pye and Elliott, they don't forget, right? They know how to drive. It's just
he knows how to drive. Yeah,
it's just he's in his own head at the moment. That's all it is. Tsunoda had a better weekend.
What a time to pick up some points first in a long time.
Yeah,
when your old car gets a podium.
So it was a good weekend for Red Bull. I think that was just Tsunoda's performance wasn't necessarily any better. I think it was just the fact that the Red Bull compared to its competitors was better at this track. So he had an all right weekend, but Hadjar had a blinder. So there's a lot of discussion now around Hadjar taking that seat. I don't know why you'd fucking want to be perfectly honest, before even the end of this year. So the race reported that he might only have 5 races left before he gets ousted. Do you think that's the right call? Or do you just let Yuki run out the season now? Because what's it going to prove? You may as well give Hadjar a fresh start next year in a new car. if you're going to.
Yeah, look, I mean, personally, I think, it's stupid. The more you change the drivers, they need time to adapt. They need time to get up to speed. It's obviously a very different car. I think it's disastrous, especially with new regs coming in next year where the cars will be different anyway. It's sort of, I don't know if you need to put another driver in to go, the car is just not that easy to drive. And look, I mean, Yuki might want to score some points and get back into the old machine. Who knows? But yeah, I can't imagine the probably the toughest position at the moment is Hadjar, because if he gets that call up, and Dr. Evil Marco has started already talking and making comments about Hadjar's, he's different, he's different, he's tougher mentally, and he's already changed his tune to start talking him up now that he wants him in the car. But geez, you wouldn't want to have that call and just be like, oh, I'm going so well in my current car, I don't want to go. It's tough.
I love the interview between Hadjar and Verstappen.
Max, yeah.
That was like Max just taking the piss out of the guy, and then Hadjar just going with it because why not? But
who'd want to be his teammate?
That's it, exactly. Look, I think we've got new regs coming in next year. There's no sense putting him in a car that we know isn't great, right? And potentially denting the confidence that he's growing throughout this year. I think you'd be better off, if you are going to make the switch at the end of the year, give him a full preseason, learning the new car, everything else and how it works, and then go from there. As for Yuki, I'm in fear that this is the end.
Yeah, unless he's got something else lined up, it could well be,
because they have that other kid, Lychek. Is it Lychek?
Yeah,
or something.
Something like that. Yeah.
Lined up in
guy
F2.
ready to go. Yeah.
And they want to bring him in, and I just feel like Yuki is I don't think Yuki's the weak link. I actually think Lawson's probably the weakest link of them all, but I think Yuki is the one on the chopping block because of the Honda affiliation.
Yeah, that's probably the tough part. But, well, it wouldn't be like a month wouldn't go by without someone talking about how tough it is at those Red Bull seats, I can tell you.
Yeah.
And
I know.
It's going to keep going because, with 5 races, that well and truly puts us in that threshold. I think is it Mexico or something like that is the
it's probably about
the
right.
race. But yep. So, man,
it's crazy, mate. It's crazy. Anyway,
bloody Red Bull.
Red Bull. All right. So driver standings at the moment, we've got Oscar in his own little space, 34 points ahead.
Yeah.
How comfortable is he? How many does Lando need to win to even get close?
Well, I think someone was saying if Lando wins and Oscar's second, I think there's like 5 or 6 races before the difference tallies up. So it's really it's a DNF or it's a really crap result for Oscar to turn the tide back.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's still possible things can go wrong. And as we said, 9 races to go. So there's still a bit of work to be done by Oscar.
Definitely. If he wins the next 2, done.
Oh, do we call it? Oh, that would be.
I mean, he likes it. He likes Monza, and he doesn't mind.
He does,
especially on his teammate.
I think that was the first time Lando went, who the fuck is this bloke?
Yeah.
And then we've got just look at the schedule. So we've got Azerbaijan after that, which he's been pretty good at. Singapore.
Yep. Singapore is a Lando.
It is Kota.
Probably a Lando track.
Maybe, yeah.
But here's the thing, right? So we are 3 from 3 of Oscar turning around circuits that he doesn't like and didn't go well at last year and has won at this year. So does he turn up to those circuits and it's a different story? Like these are the things that we don't know. I mean, having said that, Zandvoort it didn't look like it was going to be a him circuit, but he turned it around. So it's just
Turn it around.
Oh, it's going to be interesting if he gets out, if he builds on this in the next 3. I think I'd be pretty comfortable.
It'd be pretty comfortable.
I think I'd be pretty comfortable.
I think yeah. If he wins another 2, I think that really starts to make it more of a it's really his to lose.
Yeah.
And then if we talk back to my original point where he's now on 9 wins. We need another 5 to equal Sir Jack. And can you imagine if there's only 1 or 2 of those that he doesn't win, and he just clean bowls the rest of the season? Oh,
wow!
Oh,
that'll be lovely.
You could start a hydro plant on the tears from the British media about crying about Lando. So it could be exciting.
That's something we didn't even touch on, right? That entire race, right? That entire race, the lead up to it, all weekend, the entire discussion was how Lando was going to beat Piastri, which I get, but there are 2 people in fighting, right? So talk about both of them. You are the world feed, so don't just ignore the one that's led the championship for how long now? A while. And secondly, like his retirement overshadowed just how special a win that was for Oscar. Far out, man. Like,
well, since you've triggered me, I'll give you 2 things that really. So first, and normally Karuni's not too bad, but at the start of the race, he was talking about how Lando got a better start, and then they play the onboard from the rear of Piastri's, and you can see Lando's wheel, and it just stays there. And yeah, of course he covers, right? You're going to cover, but they both got the exact same start, and yet even he was like, Lando's got a better start. Oscar had to cover. It's like, dude, we can see the telecast. So that was the first thing that started me off really bad. But even the part that I didn't like was that, you're right, that even when they were talking about Oscar winning and how well he's driven, it was always off the back of, how much Lando dominated early, and Oscar learnt from that and then, drove to success. And the failure that they didn't ever say gave Oscar the win, but they said ruined the chance of a fight to the end. It's just like, you can't even just sit there and say, my goodness, what a special weekend for Oscar. Yeah, it was just I was
ropeable. Yeah, I got that feeling.
I get easily like triggered, about this stuff, and it's just going to keep going until Oscar finally just demoralizes, just pummels Lando to the ground. He can't lose the championship, and then I'll just be there on Sky Sports. I'll join Twitter. I'll sign up and just.
I'll join Hughesy. God, Hughesy been going off for about 2 months about the fact that Sky Sports can't say anything other than Lando. Yeah. I mean,
and it is a Lando bias, not a British bias. We corrected ourselves.
Yeah,
we should say we figured that out. It is a Lando bias. Yeah.
And this is not to say, like, I actually feel sorry for Lando because he didn't deserve to lose a full 25 points this round. He should have only lost the 8 or 7 or whatever it is. And that's racing. We all go racing. And some you win, some you lose. But yeah, I don't know. It gets tiresome. Like I even heard like pit stop, the British guys talking about it and talking about how great Piastri's driving and how Lando. But like, if they're starting to say it, surely that's a wake up call that you need to sort of just drag it back a little bit. It's great. He's a great driver, but he's getting reamed and he's enjoying it.
Oh my gosh. What a way. All right. Anyway, I'll tell you that was a good way to sort of close on that. I was about to say I was investigating during the race, like how can I get the other commentary pack from F1? And in Australia we can't even get anything else.
No.
Like if we sign up and pay for F1 TV, we can't get that telecast because it's blocked and limited only to our Sky commentary.
Yep.
Oh,
how frustrating!
I'm not paying for something else to VPN.
Mate, I know. It's outrageous. Like, don't even get me started on all this crap at the moment. We're just angry old people yelling in a cloud. Get over it.
Yeah, I feel like I'm definitely getting old and grumpy. So there we go.
I love it.
Nice.
Well, I think that probably, other than we've got a race this weekend, Damo, which we haven't really prepped for.
We have not, but we do have Monza, which is
do.
one of those classic tracks. Which
Ferrari's released a livery. Did you see?
Oh yes, we have got that. Maybe I don't know if you've got it handy. We might be able to just pop it up.
All right, so
there,
here we are. So we've got this lovely, I don't know, white. It's an off-white.
Lovely. That's
white.
Interesting.
Look, I don't hate it, but it's like I think it's better than the normal one. The more detail you look at it, the better it is. But I still think it's too much white.
Yeah, I actually think the more white they have on this particular one is better than that half splash they've got at the moment.
Yeah.
So I actually think it's not bad, but it certainly is not a great livery by any stretch of the means.
Oh no! So should they have they've made the wings grey? Do you reckon they should have just kept them black?
Yeah.
I think that's
they should have just kept it black. In that sequence, have they got the old car or no?
Yes.
Yeah, there it is.
Also a different red.
I know, but you see, because they've got stainless steel, I think they were stainless steel, but they got or aluminium probably. Wings, which is why they've done that grey, but it's a different grey. It's a different red. It's very loosely a tribute.
It's always a loose tribute, isn't it? These days, it's never a proper one. I think as far as Ferrari have been in recent years, I'll give them a pass mark on it, but it's not my favourite.
All right.
I don't know. We'll stop sharing now. And go back.
Good on you, mate. There you go.
I think it's an interesting one.
It is an interesting one. And hopefully that is a bit of a good luck omen. As you say, the reports are it's smooth, it's fast, high speed. So we expect Verstappen and the Ferraris to be a little bit more of a problem or a threat to the McLarens.
Yeah.
Because that is typically their sweet spot for circuits.
Yep.
And I guess if we're looking at what we would do for any predictions, which we haven't really organised, but I'm willing to say I'm gonna put my neck out and say let's go. Liam Lawson is going to have a surprise one.
You're going to stand out Liam.
I think so. I can't get it any more wrong than I have been. So I just thought the racing bulls should be reasonably quick there, I would hope. I'm going to say Max for pole, Oscar for the win, Lando for second, Max for third.
Righto. Okay. Well, standout performer. I think I'm going to go Ollie Behrman.
Ooh, Huss.
I just don't know. Got a funny feeling that he'll go all right here. So I'll put him for the standout performer.
Yep.
Pole position. I think it's probably going to be Norris. I'm going to pick Lando to get pole. But but I'm going to get Piastri in to win. He'll probably go around the outside. He'll probably go around the outside again at 2.
Yep.
And I think will Verstappen pip him? If Verstappen's got a small wing, right, there's every opportunity to take pole and cause havoc.
Yeah.
I'll pick Lando and then Verstappen. I don't think Ferraris will quite make the podium. I think they'll be quicker than they were at Zandvoort, but I think the skinny wing, like at Spa, works very effectively on that Red Bull.
Yeah. And Max is an absolute standout at driving with no aero on the thing. So
he's a wizard.
We'll see how that goes. All right. Well, that wraps us up. Thanks everybody for all the recent views and likes and subs.
Comments,
thank you very much.
Subs. Absolutely love it.
We do appreciate it. And
comment Lewis down below if you made it this far.
Because you made it this far, you're crying like Lewis is.
All right, better than Lewis did in the last race.
On that bombshell, thank you everyone. We will see you in the next video. But thanks for watching. We'll see you then.
Peace.
Bye.